Hi and welcome. My name is Carlos and today we're doing yoga for cyclists. Having said that, however, it is also a class for everyone. The reason I say is yoga for cyclists is because we're focusing more on getting the shoulders stretched and the hips stretched. We're also working on some strength exercises for the arms so you can be strong on those handlebars. And yeah, mainly stretching the legs, the quadriceps, the calves, the ankles. We're going to be also working with the breath, and we're going to start with a little bit of a concentration exercise. So make sure you take a comfortable posture, whatever that posture is. Just make sure that your spine is straight. Try to avoid to hunch and to sink forwards. Try to keep your chest slightly lifted, your shoulders slightly back, your hands resting, wherever position is comfortable. I'm going to close the eyes. Have your lips very lightly touching so that you're breathing only through your nose. Let your eyes shut. Just take a moment. First, to become aware of the posture you're in. Feel your legs. Feel your arms. Feel your spine, your neck, your face. And become aware of the whole body. Start by bringing awareness to your hearing sense. Just becoming aware of any sounds that are around. Think as though the sounds are reaching your ears rather than you looking for those sounds. And now, become aware of your own breath. You don't have to change the way you're breathing. Bring your attention to the nostrils. Notice your breath coming in and going out. Let your body become still. Breath comes in, goes out, in and out. Maintain awareness on every single breath, keeping your focus at the nostrils. Place your palms together in a prayer position in front of your heart. With the base of your thumbs, touch very lightly the base of your chest bone. And notice your heartbeat. You may join in if you will. Just simply listen. 3 long ohms. We'll start nice and easy, then we build it up slowly. First, bring your hands in front, lift your chest, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, gently walk forwards. Try to move from your hips, try to avoid collapsing your chest. Stay nice and long in the front. Go as far as you can. When you reach your limit, and gently let your back very gently slightly round. Let your head also fall. Here, concentrate on your breath and try to now slightly lengthen your breaths, taking slightly deeper and longer breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. With an inhalation, come back. Use your hands to bring you up. Then take your left hand, I will be mirroring you. So take your left hand and walk it to the left. Make sure your right sitting bone stays down. And then extend the right arm and then reach overhead. If you can, lower that elbow to the floor. If it doesn't touch the floor, it's okay. Try to keep that right shoulder gently back. Good stretch, conscious of your breath. And as you inhale, come back. Let's do the other side. Walk your right hand, extend the left arm, inhale, and as you exhale, reach over. Stay heavy on that left sitting bone and keep your left shoulder gently back. Reaching a little further with your breath. As you inhale, come back. Now place your left hand behind you towards the center, either on your fingers or on your flat hand. Take your right hand to your left knee, broaden your shoulders, lift your chest, inhale, and as you exhale, turn, not from your neck, from the base of the spine, the waist, the rib cage, the shoulders. Keep your shoulders gently back and your neck nice and soft. Every exhale, try to twist a little more. Use your hands to help you go a little deeper. It's harder to breathe when you're in a twist, and that will help you increase your capacity to breathe deep. So breathe into your rib cage. Make a little bit of a space, and as you exhale, twist a little more. Remember, keep your neck soft. As you inhale, come back to center. Switch your arms, broaden the shoulders, and as you exhale, turn. Remember, don't turn from your neck. Turn from the base of the spine, slowly moving upwards and twisting a little bit more. Keeping those shoulders broad and the shoulder blades towards each other at the back. As you inhale, gently come back. Good. Coming to hands and knees now. So on hands and knees, we're going to lift the feet and we're going to turn the feet in circles just to give some mobility to your ankles. Stay with your breath. Now we're going to extend the tops of the feet and we're going to sit with the big toes touching and the heels apart, long on the front of your feet, the tops of your feet. And here, nice and easy, we're going to crisscross the arms in front, left on top and then right on top. Good, then we're going to sit again, but with the toes tucked under. So we're going to tuck the toes under and we're going to sit. If you can, to increase the stretch, walk your knees a little closer without moving your toes. And then from here, one palm on top of the other, long arms, nice and straight. We're going to swing the arms up and back. And then we come back to sit on the top of the feet. You're going to bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, connect your palms to touch, and then nice and easy, you're going to turn the hands in circles. And then every time you do the move, every time you do each move or each posture, stay with your breath. Conscious breaths in and out. Change the rotation. I'm going to shake the hands and fingers. I'm going to come into hands, but make sure your fingers are broad. Big space between them, and you're pressing more towards the inner hand than the outer hand. So as you come into the hands, press through the inner hand, and then turn the biceps towards the front of the room, towards the front of your mat. Make sure your spine is nice and long, and your knees are beneath your hips. And here, we're going to stretch the wrists. So we're going to exhale to go forward, press through the knuckles and the fingertips. Go as far as you comfortably can without forcing it. And as you inhale, you're going to move back out of the stretch. And then we're going to move back and forth with the breath. Inhale back, exhale forward. We're not only stretching the wrists here, we're also giving some fluidity and mobility to the shoulders, to the hips, to the ankles. So as you move, your energy, your attention is concentrated on the movement across the whole body. So you feel your wrists being stretched, but you also feel your shoulders and your hips and your ankles. Good. Then stop at the center. At the center meaning shoulders over wrists, spine long, and hips over knees. You're going to extend the spine, so tailbone goes up, chest comes forward and up. That's the inhale, look slightly up, and on the exhale, we're going to round the back, point the tailbone, and reach through the back like a cat. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. I'm going to do a few more. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Come to center, and then extend the legs one at a time. So you come into a plank, making sure your shoulders stay over your wrists, and try not to sink your hips. Try to lift your hips so they're more or less as high as your shoulders, and adjust your tailbone so it points towards your heels rather than towards the sky. So tailbone pointing through the heels, press the abdominals towards the spine, take a couple of breaths. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, your neck, and your face soft. Now take a tiny little step with both feet, bend your knees, and push with your arms to send your hips up towards the sky. And the tailbone this time goes to the ceiling. Belly button in, nice and firm. Gently we're going to bounce the chest towards the toes. It will give you an extra stretch. Nice. Good for the shoulders, for the chest. Stay with your breath. And then hold still, hold that stretch for a couple of breaths. As you exhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, reach your hips back, look forward. And as you inhale, take all the steps you need to come all the way to the front of the mat. See how I came here onto my fingers? So I now have more space to bring the feet all the way forward. As you inhale, lengthen through your chest, reach your chest forward, come slightly up. And as you exhale, gently fold. I'm going to hold the elbows here. So keep a slight bend on your knees. Slight bend on your knees, so that you can deeply fold into your thighs. Hold the elbows, tuck your chin in, relax your head. And with an inhale, relax your arms and slowly bring yourself up, head comes up last. We're going to do a couple of sun salutations. So starting at the front of the mat, you inhale, you take your arms up, either through the side or across the front, lift the chest, reach. As you exhale, fold from the hips. Remember to bend the knees, so you can be able to touch the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, come to downward dog. Inhale, come to plank. And as you exhale, on the toes or the knees, lower carefully. Take your arms back, and as you inhale, keep your feet on the floor, lift your chest. Hold. Energize through your legs. Press the hips to the floor, reach your fingers back, chest forward. And then bring your hands by your shoulders. As you exhale, release. Tuck the toes under, elbows in, on the knees or toes, push up. Coming to downward dog. Inhale. Exhale. Heels high, bend your knees. This time, take a big step if you can. Lift your chest. Exhale, fold. Now we're coming up with your chest. So bend the knees as much as you need so you can come up with your chest. Reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, lower your prayer to your heart. Let's take a couple of breaths here. As you exhale, release your arms. Inhale, lift. Reach, exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back, chest forward. Exhale, plant your hands, downward dog. Inhale, plank. Knees or toes, exhale, lower. This time, press your hands to the floor. Inhale, lift your chest. Take a couple of breaths here. Keep your shoulders down, your elbows in, your legs strong. And reach your chest forward. Keep your chest lifted, and as you exhale, lift your hips, tuck the toes, come into plank, downward dog. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, big step. Lift your chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Straight away, exhale, down. We're going to do a couple more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, lift your heels. Inhale, big step. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Reach your chest forward, elbows in, shoulders down. Exhale, downward dog. So let's take the left leg to the sky. Keep the shape of the pose. Lift the leg from your inner thigh, not from the outer thigh. Take a deep breath, reach, and as you exhale, step your foot between your hands. If it doesn't reach, use your hand, bring it forward. Lower the back knee towards the back toes, keeping your front knee over your ankle. Point the toes, extend the top of the foot, and come up. Gently bounce your hips a couple of times. And as you bounce forward, hold that stretch. Extend the arms, palms facing in. Lift your chest. Relax your neck and your face and take a couple of deep breaths. With an exhalation, lower the hands, tuck the back toes, lift your hips and step back. Inhale, right leg. Extend, reach far, reach high. Take another breath. As you exhale, step. Lower the back knee towards the toes. Point the back toes, come up. Gently bounce your hips a few times. Hold that stretch, take the arms up. Long, deep breath. With an exhalation, lower the hands, tuck the back toes, lift your hips, and step back. I'm going to work with the plank, so come forward into a plank. Remember, tailbone pointing towards your heels. Press the abdominals towards the spine, shoulders over wrists. Press through the base of the fingers, the tips of the fingers. Hold nice and strong. Conscious breath. And then with a deep breath, push back into downward dog. And extend the left leg to the sky. And as you exhale, you're going to step it outside of your hand. Make a little bit of space and step it through. Make sure your leg is outside of the arm with the shoulder in. Just going to gently sway the hips side to side a few times. In this pose, try to not sink down. Keep your chest reaching forward. You can be on your fingers if you find it really difficult to go all the way into your hands. Make sure you keep that back leg straight. Then we're going to just gently bounce the hips up and down with control. Staying with the breath. And now we're going to lower the knee. Remember, lower the knee towards the back. Point the toes. Now on your hands, stay here, enjoy that stretch. If you feel you can go a little further, then you're going to walk your hands, step in front, and then carefully lower your shoulders, your elbows. But make sure you don't sink your chest. Keep your chest forward, your shoulder blades down the back, your neck nice and soft. Eventually you might touch the elbows to the floor. Don't worry about it. With time. Come back into your hands, tuck the toes, lift your hips, and then step back. Extend the right leg as you inhale. As you exhale, step it outside of your hand. Make sure that arm is well inside the leg. Sway your hips gently side to side. With control, stay with your breath. And then up and down. And then lower the knee, point the toes, stay in your hands. If it's too much, come into your fingers. Make sure you stay nice and long at the front. And try to go down a little deeper if you can. Every time you exhale, maybe you can go a little deeper. If not, don't worry, just hold and enjoy that stretch. If you pay attention to the sensations of your stretch, you will avoid giving yourself injuries. Also, it might be a little painful, but with time, that sensation will change and it will become more and more and more pleasant. Back into your hands, tuck the toes, lift your hips, and step back into downward dog. Take a couple of breaths here. And then lower the knees to the floor. So we're going to stand on the knees first. We're going to bring the knees together, separate the feet. We're going to sit between the feet. If your seat is off the edge, you can sit on a brick or a book. So knees towards each other, feet apart, you're sitting between your feet. Make sure your heels are pointing straight up, your toes are pointing straight back. From here, rest your hands on your lap, Take a couple of deep breaths. Then interlace your fingers. The tips of the thumbs touch, extend the arms, palms facing in. And as you inhale, extend the arms to the sky. Try to keep your front ribs slightly in so you don't arch your back. You want to keep the stretch isolated to your shoulders. From the hips all the way to your wrists. Give yourself a good stretch. Keep your neck soft. Take a couple of deep breaths. Reaching the arms up and gently back. Up and gently back. And as you exhale, gently release. And let's sit with a variation. Take your brick out of the way, and then this time sit on your heels, or rather between your heels. Separate your knees. If you don't have two bricks, it's okay. You can still do the hands on the floor, or if you don't have two books. But this is a little bit of a different stretch. You're going to hold in the bricks, you're going to walk your hands forward. Make sure your hips stay down. When you find your maximum stretch, press through the bricks, rotate your arms so the biceps turn slightly towards each other and towards the ceiling, and then sink your chest down. Keep your head nice and soft. Avoid the head to drop, but rather lift so that it is in line with your shoulders. Like I said, if you don't have the bricks, the hands on the floor will do just as good. You just feel a little different. And as you inhale, slowly bring yourself up. If you hurt on your ankles, lift your feet and turn your feet. Otherwise, we'll move on to the other stretch. So knees slightly apart. You're going to bring the hands back. Keep your hips down. All you want to do is lift your hips just a little so that you can scoop your tailbone towards your knees. You will feel the glutes engaging, tailbone moving towards your knees, and the pubic bone being pulled by the core towards your chest so that you keep the position of your pelvis. And then here, you press to the hands and lift your chest. Shoulder blades coming together and pushing against the back ribs to help you lift. Head can look forward or up or back. If you don't feel the stretch so much, then walk the hands forward. I like to hold my feet. And then lower the elbows towards the floor, one at a time or two at the same time. Make sure your shins, though, don't lift off the floor. As you come into the pose, they might lift, but then you want to readjust so your shins come to the floor. And then move your chest bone away from the abdomen. Reach over. Comfortable, soft, deep breaths. If you know this stretch and you want more, you can walk your hands so that you're on your head or on your shoulders. If you're on your shoulders, you can either rest your arms on the floor or extend your arms overhead. Wherever you are, keep the positioning, the adjustment of your pelvis, and stay with your breath. Breathing into your chest, nice and deep. Carefully come out of your stretch. Come into your hands. Come into plank. And then come into downward dog. Gently bounce your chest if you will. Extend the left leg to the sky. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, step it again outside of your arm. Lower the knee, point the toes. Now here's a few variations. Turn the left toe slightly to the left and take one step with your right hand. Turn towards your bent leg, towards your front leg, and gently push it out of the way as you have the foot roll into the blade, onto the outer edge of your foot. You can also do this on your forearm. I think it just feels a little bit more intense. So you can come into your left hand, bring the forearm down. You can also take the arm to the sky. It will help you get a nice twist and reach the fingers to the ceiling, pushing with the right forearm. If you can, don't worry if you can't do this, bend your knee and grab your foot. To grab your foot, some people might have to shift the hips back, and that's absolutely okay. But if you can't then move forward again, you're kind of losing the stretch really, because here you're stretching the front of your right thigh. If you move back, you lose that stretch. So just make sure that you can stay with your hips forward. If you're grabbing your foot, pull it. It will help you twist a little more. Conscious breath. Carefully release, come into the hands, lift your hips, step back. Other side, right leg extends, inhale, step it outside of your hand, exhale, lower the knee. Take your right toes ever so slightly to the right, take one step with your hand, twist, and then push your right hand, push your thigh with your right hand. Let it roll into the blade of that foot. You can point the toes if you like, Make sure your hips stay forward. You can then do the other variation with your forearm on the floor if you will, with your arm to the sky, whichever one feels best, or holding the foot. If you're grabbing your foot, gently pull it in. With an exhalation, take your hand down, lift your hips, step back. Take a few breaths here. And then lower to your knees. So we're going to do another plank variation. The variation of the plank is going to be like this. The base of the thumbs touching, and the thumbs touching, fingers spread wide. If you don't really like this, you can do standard plank. Otherwise, let's go for it. Now bring your palms together, turn the biceps forwards, extend the legs. Now, when the feet are touching, it's a lot harder, or a little bit harder, so make sure you have your feet wide. If you're going for it, bring your feet to touch. Remember, you're still in a plank. Hips not sinking, but also neither too high. Tailbone pointing to the heels, core nice and strong, shoulders away from the ears. Nice and deep breath. As you exhale, gently lower the knees. Ease out through your wrists by just shaking the hands. And grab the bricks again. If you don't have bricks, don't worry, I'll show you the version without the bricks. I'll actually show you that first. So we're going to slide the hips forward so they're over the knees, and then we're going to walk the arms, we're going to walk the hands all the way, so you get a good stretch. Turn the biceps up, and then gently sink your chest towards the floor, keeping the pressure on your hands. If you have your bricks, you place your bricks wide side facing you. You're going to place your arms, not the elbows, upper arms on the bricks, one at a time, palms together in a prayer, and then carefully bring your knees back. So if you notice, it's the same pose, just that the upper arms are on the bricks. And I think it makes it a little bit more intense. And with the palms together, gently guide your hands towards your back. It will increase the stretch on your triceps. Concentrate on your breath again. Then very carefully come up by pushing through the hands or the forearms if you're on your bricks, and then walking the knees forward so you can safely come out of the stretch. I'm going to start with the left leg in front. Have your leg so the shin is parallel to the line of your mat, and your thigh is parallel with the long line of your mat. And then do the same with the other foot. Your right thigh parallel with your front shin, and vice versa. Turn towards the front of your mat and lift your chest. See how I'm on my fingertips? It gives me a nice lift. I'm going to try to relax your hips. And take a couple of deep breaths. And then carefully walk your hands forward. Remember, don't sink on your chest. Keep your chest lifted and long. Go forward, forward, forward from the hips. Deep breaths, neck and face nice and soft. Then carefully come up. Let's change the legs. So have your right leg in front, your left leg to the side. Shin parallel with the front line, thigh parallel with the long line of the mat. Adjust the other legs so they're kind of mirroring each other. And then leaning on your right hand, lift your chest and then turn towards the front. Taking nice and deep breaths. Letting the legs soften and relax. And then slowly going down. Remember, from your hips. So walk your hands slowly, slowly. With time, go down. Every time you inhale, lengthen through the front. Keep your shoulder blades down. Every time you exhale, see if you can go a little deeper. Shoulders and neck and face soft. Taking deep breaths. Then carefully come up. Take the legs in front. Give them a little shake. Tap the sides of your legs and the hips. And then come into downward dog. This one might be a little tricky, so if you have the bricks or whatever it is that you have for bricks, instead of bricks, you can use it. So the left foot is going to go to the outside of right behind the right wrist. And you're going to come into the blade of your foot. So you take your foot. See, I'm on the blade of the foot, just behind my wrist. If you can't reach there, a little bit further back, it's just as good. If you find it difficult, if you lift a little higher, you might find it a lot easier. So with an inhalation, the knee is going to go in the direction of the left wrist. And with an exhalation, you're going to push onto the blade of the foot, and you're going to try and extend the leg. You don't have to extend fully, as far as you can go. You're going to go nice and slow. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up and hold. Take a couple of breaths, conscious deep breaths. And as you exhale, slowly lower the knee. Good. So remember, the front shin at an angle, just as good. If you can, some people can bring the foot a little further forward so it's parallel. That's okay too. And then see if you can move yourself away from the front shin. So what I do is I take my hands to the leg and I walk the knee a little bit further back. Now gently move your hips side to side, just a little. Good, and then come into your hands. You can stay here if you like. It's a really good stretch. You might find that this is the best and the one that you can achieve. If you go a little deeper, if you go further down, you'll feel the stretch a little more. So you walk in your hands forward. You'll feel it a little more. Maybe going into your forearms. Make sure wherever you go, you don't really hurt your knee. So there might be a little bit of pain on the knee, and that's okay. It will probably go away after a few breaths. But if it gets worse, you should come back so you don't hurt yourself. Maybe you can go into your arms or into your chest. And once you reach your limit, you'll stay here for a couple more breaths. Then gently come back. Tuck the back toes, lift your hips and your knee, and step back. Let's do the other side. So bring your right foot towards your left wrist. Not too close if you find it difficult. And with your bricks, if it's needed. And then inhale. Lower the knee towards your right wrist. Exhale. Try to extend the leg. So see, with the bricks, it's a lot easier. I'm going to do nice and slow 3 more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale and hold. Every time you exhale, try to extend the leg a little more, just a little. And on your next exhalation, lower the knee. Good to remember that knee to the side, the shin at an angle, but if you can, bring it forward a little more. Make sure you're not sinking to the floor towards your right side. Make sure both hips are the same distance from the ground. Come into your hands if you will, and then see if you can move yourself back away from that shin. Take a couple of breaths here. And then on your hands, or all the way down. What I usually do is I go step by step, take a couple of breaths here, and then go down a little more. And I do it slowly. And the slower I do it, the deeper I can go. I'm not going into the full stretch straight away, because the body tends to say, oop. And it tends to contract. Smooth breaths. And carefully come back. Take the leg back, and then come to sit on your heels. You're going to grab a brick, and you're going to sit on that brick again. Knees apart, knees together, feet apart, sit on a brick. If you don't need that brick to sit, obviously don't do it. If you find these really uncomfortable, I would say maybe just bring your feet in and your knees apart. But like I said, with time, that painful pose will become more like an enjoyable pose. From here, knees together, feet apart, we're going to take the hands in front. We're going to slowly Go forward from the hips, remember. I feel like this forward bend is quite difficult for me, so I go nice and easy. I don't try to reach the floor all the way, but I take it nice and slow. And because every day is different, sometimes I can reach my hand to the floor, sometimes not. But what I'm more interested in is get a good stretch, enjoy the stretch, and make sure that I don't hurt myself. So if I hurt myself, then I can't practice tomorrow. I have to wait for a week or two. It just slows everything down. Then carefully come up. Now still with that break there, we did this pose already, but we did a variation with the feet together, knees apart. We're going to come back onto the hands. Again, lift your pelvis, your hips just a little, and lengthen the tailbone to the knees. Pull your pubic bone towards your belly. Press with the hands and lift your chest. And like on the other pose, you can go a little bit deeper, but if you're going to go further down, remove your brick. And you can walk your hands forward. Like I said, I like to hold my feet. And as you go down, your shins might lift off the floor, but make sure they can come back. This is a very intense pose for me, so I make sure that the hips are working. The glutes are working to guide the tailbone forward to the knees, and the core is working to guide the pubic bone towards the chest, towards the belly. In that way, I'm not compressing my lower back and I'm not hurting my back. And then again, you can go into the head or the shoulders. Remember, every day is different, so feel for the pose rather than memorize the pose. And stay with your breath. And carefully come back, nice and slowly. Most injuries come when you come into the pose or out of the pose, because it's the time where we're not really paying attention to. Good, then take your legs in front. Give them a little shake. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together. You don't have to pull them real close to the hips, to the groin. Somewhere where it's comfortable for you, where you feel, yeah, I'm giving myself a good stretch, but I'm somewhat comfortable. If you really struggle with this pose, I like to take it all the way to the wall, with the sacrum to the wall. And I just stay here, leaning myself against the wall, 3 minutes, and then slowly build up to 4 or 5 minutes. For now, we'll do it here. And shaking the legs or flapping the legs will help you open the hips a little more. Make sure you're not forcing it. Stay with your breath. I find that when I'm not concentrating on the breath, or where I'm not concentrating on the pose, where I'm not feeling the pose, become distracted, think of other things to do. Very quickly the practice becomes really boring, because you're not really here, you're somewhere else. On the other side, when I concentrate on my breath, when I'm paying attention to the sensations, it really becomes a very enjoyable practice. Let's take a twist first. So bring the right hand behind, take your left hand to your right foot, and then pull with the left hand, push with the right hand, and take a gentle twist. Remember, don't twist your head. Every time you exhale, pull a little more. And as you inhale, give yourself a little bit of a space. I'm going to exaggerate. You move slightly out and then you pull in. It's not that obvious. It's a little bit less of a move, a little bit unnoticeable, but you can feel it. You come back to center with an in-breath, switch your hands, and then twist to the other side on the exhale. Remember the shoulders back, shoulder blades towards each other, collarbones broad. Don't turn your neck. Try to turn from the base of the spine. As you inhale, give a little bit of a space for that breath. And as you exhale, twist a little more. Back to center with an in-breath. I'm going to grab hold of the feet, interlace your fingers. If you can't grab your feet, hold your shins. And then remember, keep your spine long. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. I can go a lot deeper, but I'd rather go slowly. If I go slowly, I feel like it gives me a little bit more time, gives the body a little bit more time to lengthen, to stretch there, and therefore I'm not forcing it. Now if you have your arms over your shins, you can push and it'll help you lower the knees a little more. If you have them in front, you can pull and it will give you some traction on your spine, length on your spine. Gently come up. We're going to do a back bend and then we're going to finish. So if you have those two bricks, I'm going to give you a couple of options here. You're going to lie on the back. One brick goes flat under your sacrum. If you don't really feel it, we're going to take two bricks. You're going to place the two bricks under the sacrum. If you're not feeling it, you can place the two bricks this way. So you have to lift a little high. Maybe you have to lift on the balls of your feet. And then you place your bricks on the sacrum. And then you can rest your feet back on the floor. Feet hip width apart, toes pointing forward, heels pointing back. Knees in line with the hips. Arms by the floor. And make sure you're not pushing your head on the floor. You're being supported by your shoulders, rather. Now if you want more active stretch, it is the same pose, but without the bricks. So you press the feet, strong legs, lift you up. And then interlace your fingers. We did this before. Remember, extending arms overhead, but interlace them at the back. Extend the arms, roll your shoulder blades towards each other, and lift your chest. Now if you want more, do it on your hands. So bring your hands by the side of the head. Not too close to the head. You're going to get stuck. Wide. Fingers pointing to the toes. Don't let the elbows play. Pull the elbows towards each other. And peel off your back part by part. So start with your hips. As you inhale, lift your tailbone. Lower back, middle back, shoulders coming to your head and maybe coming to your hands. Lift as high as it is comfortable for you. Take a couple of breaths. To lower, tuck your chin, carefully lower onto your shoulders. Good. Closing in, just going to take the knees to chest, interlace your fingers to hold your legs, and gently roll or sway side to side. Then release your feet to the floor, and then lengthen the back of your neck. Tuck your chin slightly in. Just very gently roll your head side to side. Now bring your head back to center. And then one at a time, extend the legs. Arms can rest in whatever position is most comfortable. I find that if I turn the arms, not the hands, the arms, so the palms face to the sky, it helps me open up the shoulders a little more. Take a deep breath through the nose and exhale with a sigh through your mouth. And as you do so, let your body rest. Let's do one more time. Inhale through the nose. One last time, inhale. Now we're going to scan the whole body. You're going to do that on your own. From your head all the way to your toes. Slowly moving down the hair, the face, the shoulders, arms, hands and fingers, the chest and the abdomen, the back, the hips, the legs, feet, reaching all the way to the toes. And then when you reach the toes, slowly come back. From the toes, up the legs, the hips, the belly and chest, the back, the fingers, hands, arms and shoulders, the neck, the face and the head. And then slowly, slowly, moving from head to toes, from toes to head. You can stay here for as long as you can. Do that 5 or 10 times.